bit of a different idea for the stream I'm going to be doing today. Actually, I'm going to be traveling at the end of this week, and so what I need to do is actually prepare a little bit beforehand, and then due to travel restrictions and stuff like that in Canada, when I return I'll have to be quarantined for a little bit and all of that. So what I'm actually gonna have happen is for the month of September I won't be doing my streams. It'll be a month where I am off, and then I'll be back in October. At the very least I'm gonna do 2 weeks off, and then we'll see how things go from there. So with that in my mind, what I figured would be important for me to do now is spend a little time talking about what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve. I think that could be useful for anyone who watches this channel, watches these videos, or streams I mean, and it's also going to be a useful useful endeavor for myself. But actually what I want to do prior, just to get my mind in the zone, is before I start talking about all that stuff, what I actually do want to do is just mess around with this here. So I figured, oh, there's a way here. It's a little choppy, but there is in theory a way to stream web page animations directly into a source in OBS. So I was just very briefly wanting to oh man, I'm sorry, I'm switching scenes all over the place. I briefly wanted to see if I could turn the scene around this into an animated thing that just is served from the local host or something like that. So I'm going to mess around with that just for a few minutes, and then I have a few thoughts I wanted to share related to yeah, what I'm trying to achieve. So that's going to be the stream for the day. So the first thing I want to do is actually take this and go ahead and reduce the total number of points that are being animated. This is a complete digression, of course, from anything quote-unquote important, but it's fun to mess around from time to time. So that's what I'm going to do for now. And the first thing I want to do, actually, is what is the first thing I want to do? The first thing I want to do is get rid of the need for, okay, in here, I'm going to get rid of this. Oh wait, no, I can keep the header, but I'm going to get rid of the header so it's not cluttering up the page itself. There's that. And then I'm going to go up here and get rid of this figure call. And that should still work okay, but we'll find out. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we've got a basic viewing setup here. Now what I want to do is go over to resources here, styles, and I want to see what happens if I go into here and remove style. Let's see what this looks like when I refresh that. So it shouldn't have a style sheet at all. It seems to work fine, so that kind of doesn't mean anything to me. So what I'll do instead here, instead of this, the only thing I really need to do is, if I go to, oh, first of all, let me get this here back to what it was before. And there's only one thing I believe I had here. Yeah, this root SVG element has a border, but I don't really need that. So how do I comment SVG? I don't remember. Is it hash? No. Is that right? Oh, it looks right. Cool. Okay, so we've got that reasonably good. Okay, so here, what I want to do now, 3D surfaces, that is right here, I do believe. This looks correct. What I want to do is go up here actually and take 200 only. Let's have a look at that. Is that working? Appears to be. Let's try that. Take 200. Okay, so what I can do now, what I wonder, does this update? Doesn't appear to. Give me 1 second. I'm fiddling around on this computer here. Oops. Well, okay. Let me go ahead. Hey, Dr. Zonk, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Sorry, I'm messing with some screen things here, as you could obviously tell. Let me try this. Again, not what I need. I have a better idea. Let me remove it. No. Let's go back here. Let's go see if I can do this. Right. Okay, let's see if this will work. I have no clue if it'll work. Doesn't appear to be working at the moment. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this one. That's me. Okay. So things are not quite working, but let's try that. It is a little confusing to me. Let's see here. Let's try something like that. It's entirely possible that my the laptop that I'm streaming from is not gonna really cooperate with me while I'm trying this out. So maybe this is a problem for another day. It might have to be. Well, okay, so let me just, I'll leave this running because it looks kind of nice, it's cool. It's not obviously working in the context of my OBS, but that's totally fine. I was just messing around anyway, so I'll just get rid of that down on that side of things. So it's in the title, it was in the little blurb that I sent out. This is not, I'm not gonna really, this stream is not gonna be me programming. At least that's not the intent. What I'm gonna be doing today is talking about some of the motivation and reasoning and intent behind what I've been trying to do with this stream and what I'm trying to do with the code I'm writing at all. So I'm going to be clipping this and I'm going to be putting it on YouTube and stuff like that. So if you don't want to be tuned in live or anything like that, that's totally understandable. And I won't for a while be interacting with the chat. So you can post stuff there, but I will probably not engage with it, at least for some time. Because I just have a few things I want to say related to what got me to here and what my thinking is on what I'm actually trying to do. Before I do that though, I'm going to go get myself a little thing of water because I'll be chit-chatting and it'll be good to have a little glass of water. So I'll be back in 2 minutes, won't be long. Okay, so let me, I'm going to rearrange these screens here for a minute because I want to create a setup where things are a little clearer. Got a scratch there, that's nice. Okay, so I'm gonna be, this will be the last stream I do for at least 2 weeks, maybe up to a month. Now, I'm going to be coming back because I genuinely like doing these streams, and I feel like it keeps me nicely progressing and writing code on a regular basis, which is very beneficial to me mentally and is just useful as a set of habits to do. But I want to take the month because I have to do some traveling anyway, and I'll be quarantined in my apartment and stuff like that. So I'll probably want to use that time to refocus and familiarize myself with my own goals and things like that. So I think it's just a good idea to take breaks from time to time so you can kind of focus on yourself, you know, your own philosophy and all that kind of stuff. Nothing too crazy, just personal choice should be useful for me. So what I'm going to do is I have some notes here that I just want to talk about and share what I'm doing, really. So my brief story, my name is Adam James. It's not news on this particular channel, which is just called Adam James TV. Pretty straightforward, not hyper creative as a name, but that's okay. I grew up in Southern Ontario in Canada. It's where I'm currently located as well. And I worked at a young age in the greenhouse manufacturing shop that our family owns. So behind the house where I grew up, there's greenhouses. It was part of the family business, and as kids we would go in there on the weekends and we'd bike around and play and all of that. It was genuinely a lot of fun. Then good old mom and dad work ethic kicked in, and we were pretty young, and we would be working kind of part-time in the greenhouses. Eventually I went from the greenhouses where we grew plants and everything to the shop, which that's the colloquial thing we call it. It's where we would work with the metal, and we would actually build greenhouses and sell them to other growers all around Canada. A lot in Ontario, particularly in the Southern Ontario regions. There's a lot of greenhouse development. So I learned to do things like weld, do cutting and grinding of steel, and in particular I learned to work with laser tube cutters, which was very fun for me, and actually a skill I'm really quite happy that I learned. That and welding, I think, were two really fun skills. But that was all through high school that I would be doing that work in the shop here at the family business. I want to think that it was my own choice to study mechanical engineering, and it was. I was never coerced into making decisions, but I think in some ways it was an easier decision for me to just kind of go and study mechanical engineering, because I had enjoyed working in the shop. I had enjoyed doing some CAD work, and I thought it would really kind of fit with my skill set. I enjoyed math, I enjoyed building things already. It seemed like a reasonably good fit, and I to this day I think it was not a bad choice. I learned quite a bit. I really enjoyed the challenge of studying engineering. I also had the particular program I was in had co-ops, so like you would do 4 months of school, and then you would do 4 months of work, where this work was related to the engineering field you were studying. The school itself held interviews and things like that. It was really quite great, in my opinion. I ended up working in the States, in Michigan 2 times. I ended up moving to Calgary for one of the terms, and I worked at a small startup one time too. So I had a reasonably varied experience of different companies, and I really enjoyed that. After I graduated though, then I managed to, with connections to all the greenhouses in the area, then where I was in Southern Ontario here, I managed to get hired at a place in the Netherlands, and this was another fantastic opportunity. But for reasons that I don't think are important to get into, I eventually decided that I would not stick around at the company in the Netherlands. And I had no direct plan, but I came back to Canada, and my dad talked to me and said I should try to work at the family business. And I thought about it, and I decided that it might be a good thing to do as well. I had a mechanical engineering background. I could theoretically spend time here and become a professional engineer, a designation you need in Canada for to do various engineering activities like approving drawing packages and inspections and that kind of thing. So it seemed like a really good opportunity. And for 2 to 3 years, I had various struggles and successes doing that. Working at a family-owned company as one of the members of said family presents unique social challenges. That's not a topic I really want to cover now because there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't know that I can say things in such a way that doesn't have bias or really has much to add to it. I faced some opportunities and some struggles is the simplest way to put it there. As you would in any business, right? So maybe it comes out as a wash, but so that's what I did. And then I do believe everyone is familiar with 2020, one of the wildest years that I've experienced in my life. The pandemic hit and our business had to start working remote. It was during this time that I noticed a few things about myself and my work habits and my day-to-day happiness. Without going into the details, I noticed that despite things in the world being troubling and stressful and challenging, there was a global pandemic, it's still ongoing to this day. Despite those things, I found myself waking up calm and happier than I had in months. So I don't want to get all sappy about it I don't want to overblow these things, but it was a pretty stark realization that I had. And so I thought about it, I talked with some people, and I made a decision and I left the family business, which fast forwarding yet again a little bit, that does lead to right now, which means I'm very fortunate to be financially comfortable for a little while, but I am not working, except that I am working on this stream, on some code ideas, on some content, and on myself. So that's briefly where I'm at now. Obviously, it was only a few minutes that I was talking about this. You know, can you summarize a life? Maybe you can. But for a moment on identity here, I have some thoughts related to this now. Many people that I've encountered in my life identify rather strongly with school and their work. And so I do my best to not do that myself, but it's tricky, you know? Sometimes you do feel like what you do defines your identity or something along those lines. So I try to not worry so much about defining identity by way of what I've studied or the work that I've done, but that can be tricky. So and it's tricky now because I've decided I'm moving away from the school stuff I've studied and from my original career path. I made those choices recently, and you know, it makes the ideas of identity a little challenging. So one thing I have recognized though is that despite what labels you can apply to yourself or what labels people could apply to you, there are some through lines and sort of themes over the years that I've encountered. And they come in the form of some things, sort of high level kind of categories of things that I love. So those things are design and building. So, but what I mean by this is things like, I can even show you here, like this here. This was a design I did some time ago. I've shown little bits of this on a stream before, but this is, by the way, the laser tube cutter that I learned to use. So this is a little iPad stand I designed and built, and I used it for a while. To be totally honest, I don't use it now anymore. It's dismantled, but the design and the build process was just thoroughly enjoyable to me. When I was a kid, and even now, I play with Lego because I find it quite enjoyable to put the pieces together and get something from, you know, little simple pieces. You can make a complex looking, awesome looking structure. So that's what I mean by building and designing. I usually mean physical products, furniture. In undergrad, I did a bit of structural design for some prototype stuff that went into MRI machines. It just really feels great to sit and think about 3D physical space, materials, and how you can combine them to solve problems. I love doing the design side of it, but I also really do love the ability to work with tools and produce those designs yourself. I can come up with a design and then I can walk to the shop and produce it myself. It's often really important to involve other people. I'm not denying the importance and superior skill of professional welders, professional machinists, that sort of thing. But to be able to participate on that level, on the build level myself, has been a real joy, and it's very fun to talk about and to try and build those skills. I really love visual creative pursuits. So what I mean by that is, these sorts of things, generative art, drawing, doing sketches on my iPad, things like that. Animation, video editing, that kind of stuff has always been a bit of a fun little hobby of mine. Writing, I used to write a little bit more. I have a blog that I have up that I will be focusing on more in the coming weeks because I really enjoy writing. I like writing because it's a really nice way to share knowledge in a asynchronous way, in a kind of permanent way. And it's also extremely useful on a personal level for clarifying thought. There's a lot of writing I do that doesn't get put out anywhere. It could even be, written on paper and thrown away for all I care. Writing as a thinking enhancement tool has been really fun. I engage a lot in fitness. I work out regularly, and I like individual sports, hiking, rollerblading, biking, climbing, all of those kind of outdoorsy adventure type sports I really enjoy. Games, I play games, board games, card games and stuff with a group of friends very regularly, and I also love me some video games. In particular, I've been doing Minecraft a lot lately, some of which occasionally slips into my streams because I like programmatically messing around with the game as well. Teaching, explaining, and sharing, it might seem a little bit obvious now. Teaching and explaining, teaching may be a bit lofty in the context of this here, but I always find it really enjoyable when I can talk with simple terms and simple concepts in order to give knowledge and understanding to someone else or a small group of people. And by sharing, I mean, if I really feel passionate about something I solved, I just love talking about it. And sharing that through something like a video or a stream like this brings me joy. Plain and simple, it just makes me happy to do. That's why that's on the list there. And beyond this, I like encouraging, empowering, and entertaining people. Entertaining, I love when you can make someone laugh. In my personal life, it's always a real pleasure of mine. It's just very fun to do. But encouraging and empowering, this speaks to something fundamental that I think, and that is that though it is true that every individual human has different capabilities, different aptitudes and joys, things that they enjoy and things that they don't enjoy. I really think every human can be empowered to do wonderful things with their mind, with their bodies, and I try to encourage that as much as possible. I try to run this stream in such a way to prove that you don't have to be some super genius to use a computer to do awesome and fun programming things. I'm not particularly skilled at some of the advanced programming things, but I can do it. And I love encouraging and empowering everyone to similarly pursue effortful skill building to also be able to do things that they want to do for themselves and for others. So let's not get overly lofty here. Those are some of the things I love. And those lead into some values and motivations as well. I really do value honesty, empowerment, like I was saying before. Creativity, I do believe, is one of the best human traits that we have. Humans in general, not specific humans, all humans, I think, have this sort of capability of great creativity, of looking at a set of things, using prior knowledge, using intuition, and making reasonable assumptions to build tools, to build systems, to communicate with people, to solve problems, to bring joy, to communicate complicated emotional aspects, all sorts of things. Now, I'm not some philosopher, so my understanding of creativity might in fact be limited or missing some things. But I really think everyone enjoys creativity, and I think everyone can build and work on those creative skills that almost feel innate to the self. I also think that creativity, focused in on some real big things, on real global challenges, is actually one of our best ways forward as a collective group of humans trying to make our way in the wild world that we find ourselves in. And I think this is certainly not the only way to solve problems. In fact, if we were to only try and solve problems by building tools and using technology, I don't think we would achieve holistically useful results. I think human systems and societies are complex enough that we need kind of a multifaceted approach. So I'm not some hyper genius that has solutions in every area, but I do think that my proclivities, my history of what I learned growing up, what I'm learning and focusing on now, allows me to participate by building tools and systems that can make humans more capable. So what does that even mean? What's an example of a tool that makes a human more capable? I mean, the obvious thing is something like a hammer. If you need to put a nail through something to fasten two pieces of wood together, you can hit it with a stone. You can't reasonably hit it with your hand, right? The human hand is not strong enough to withstand that kind of impact. But I do believe I have to turn off my AC for a second. A brief tangent. That's my bad. Point is, something like a hammer is really useful, right? It makes the human capable. Sorry, I've been derailed for a second there. Hey, Mike, long time no see. How have I been? I've been pretty good. I don't know if you just tuned in right now. I'm actually in the middle. I'm giving a bit of call it a presentation, if you will, on the motivations I've got and what I'm actually trying to achieve with this stream and my time in general. So hopefully you're you're cool with that. But I've been good, and I'm in the middle actually of explaining a little bit of how things have been going a little more deeply. So feel free to tune in. I will probably not be answering questions for just a few minutes. But also, if you don't want to tune into this, if you were here for programming and that's not what you're getting today, that's totally fine if you don't want to stick around. But that's what I'm doing at the moment, so hopefully that's cool. Yeah, so I was explaining this here, building tools and systems that make humans more capable. This, as a broad motivation, I think is pretty sensible. I'm sure people have said things like this before, but it seems like something that fits my skill set and the things I want to work on quite well. I do think there's a lot of global challenges in the world today. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. And I really think that the problems are big enough and urgent enough that we need to be working now, and we need to be working in some sort of collective fashion, if you will. I think that I'm not going to solve these things alone, nor do I think that I am necessarily the most qualified to talk about big global problems. What I do think I can do is be a human helping other humans. And that maybe is trite, but I really think this here, building tools and systems to make humans more capable, is something I can achieve and participate in. And that is largely what I'm trying to achieve with my work on this on this code base here, right? All of this here is focused on building out little simple tools that can help people build documents and communicate things, in particular design things. So this is a lot of my motivation. So what am I doing? I'm in particular focusing for the next for 2021. I have made some decisions, set some things up such that I can focus on basically these three things. So the first is programmatic CAD. This is basically what I've been working on these streams. This is the Stylo library that lets you write documents with CAD design work kind of embedded directly in it. And I really do think programmatic CAD is a fantastic paradigm for communicating complicated design work. Since I think that we need a lot of collective work to kind of solve problems and help one another out, I think that's going to lead to a lot of small teams working together in a sort of interdisciplinary fashion. A doctor working with an engineer, working with a programmer, working with a policymaker, working with a investor, and you can come up with any scenario of people who have high degrees of expertise in different areas but lack a common ground to communicate upfront. Now, I mean, all humans can communicate, and building teams is hard no matter what, but I think programmatic CAD is one useful way to share in a relatively open way complex design work, and to explain it with prose and with diagrams is, I think, really important. So I'm going to spend a lot of time building out the Stylo library, and what I want to do is build a business around it to kind of prove out whether or not my assumption is actually correct, right? Because I can sit here all day and say, yeah, I think programmatic CAD is what we need and what will work, but you know, the world we live in kind of needs you to put your money where your mouth is sometimes. So one of my focuses is for the year is going to be building out programmatic CAD. Now I can give a sort of benign example. This is, I had shown this earlier. You know, this was all written in code and produces a nice visual result. And so you can imagine if you're a programmer, you could come to this document and read through and get the exact measurements and things like that. But if you're a manager and all you want to do is show to someone what the final product would look like, you can go to the same document, scroll down, and play around with this and see it, right? So you can, there's this multi-method of communicating the same kinds of ideas. I think that's very powerful. So some simple examples. This is a more modern example. This is a design I had worked on, and this is actually this code can actually be written in. Now, written in and updated. So I can go like this, and the document will recalculate the dimensions here. So this is another additional layer of usability, where the same visual and programmatic information is communicated along with prose, right? So you could call it philosophical information, sort of motivation from the designer or designers, visual information for people who need to build it or want to showcase it, and programmatic information for people who want to understand the structure behind this. So that is the kind of programmatic CAD that I want to build out into a state where it can be useful for individuals in an open source manner and for companies in a licensed and usability in a useful manner for small to medium to, who knows, eventually large businesses. But the key programmatic CAD that uses open source libraries. I do think CAD tools are too locked in and hard to access. I also think CAD is only hard to learn because of artificial barriers. So by that I mean cost barriers, old software not running nicely on new devices, requirements of high-end computers, that sort of thing. And programmatic CAD can actually solve all of those problems. I can go here and do OpenJS CAD. In theory, it becomes possible to program and write and build CAD software. This is an example. I have not produced this myself, but this is an example of some OpenCAD programmatic CAD software that you can access in an open way on whatever device you happen to need. Now, is this perfect? No, but I do think it is a worthwhile pursuit to focus on. So that is going to be a major focus for my year here. Creative product documentation. Now, what do I mean by this? You know, I do need to, as I'm building my library, as I'm working on programmatic CAD, it will be important for me to make sure the features I add and the code I write is useful and applicable to the types of problems that I care about. So what does that mean? That means using the software I write directly. And how I can use it is by designing my own products, using the software to create the design documents and the CAD files and all of that stuff, and by doing that for other people on a kind of case-by-case basis. So one example of this is I have someone that I do quilt pattern design work for, and this is an example of one document that I've produced using the library. This happens to just be two-dimensional diagrams related to fabric and quilting, but this is a very good example of the power of an open system that you can use to produce these kinds of nice documents. Now, over time, what I really hope to do is, if I go to this GitHub site that I have up here, if I go here, for example, this was produced all in code and in a sort of on the client side of things, or pardon me, console, in the command line is what I meant, not on the client side. It is a static document. I think it looks really nice. It conveys a lot of information and is, I think, really cool because it's a creative project. I think the world and people in general will be a lot happier if we focus on these kinds of things from time to time, you know? It's sort of enriching thing. You can take pride in making something. So the tool at the time where I made this was me writing code. And over time, what I want to do is build little tools that the creators can use themselves directly without having to produce code necessarily. So this is a little prototype that I had for producing quilt fabric templates based on some simple point coordinates. And it's just a prototype, but the idea is you put your drawing in here and you could click print and get this printed in true scale with the offset that you need and the alignment lines for where you sew the pieces together. So that's just an example of the idea of building tools and systems that can make people more capable. So that's what I mean. I'll be doing creative product documentation. So I showed an example of a CAD file that you can distribute and people can build their own projects with the drawings in there, and someone could use it to produce something like a quilt. But the library I'm working on is designed to be open enough that you can use it to make documentation for things beyond those two examples. I mean, basically the only limitation becomes your creativity. You could use it to make your own Lego instruction booklets. You could use it to make Minecraft build instructions. You could use it to make t-shirt designs, and you could use it to create a single t-shirt design that you can type in your own, you know, neck and arm measurements and get a fully customized template to cut and build your, make your own t-shirts, all calculated for you automatically. So if there are people who want to develop ideas like that, I want to work with them and build out these kinds of tools, because I think that would be a lot of fun, and I think it'd be a really powerful set of things to do. And you know, there are so many ideas I'm sure that I haven't even thought of yet. So that would be a lot of fun. And I want to focus on content creation as well. I said it earlier, I really enjoy this stream. It's a lot of fun for me. It keeps me on track and focused on writing code regularly. It forces me to verbalize my thoughts more concisely. It's not always easy to do. Communicating is hard in general, but doing it on stream in front of people has been challenging but rewarding as well. It's a small following, I will admit. I do hope it can grow, and I'm going to keep doing this. But I also want to branch out beyond just Twitch. I want to do some code-related tutorials and or recreational programming YouTube videos. My brother and I, we actually do fitness videos already. I enjoy doing that, and I don't want to stop. It's a lot of fun. And I think fitness as a tool for building the skill of discipline is really good for everyone. I think everyone should have some kind of fitness related routine or pursuit, just because it helps the mind learn how to stick to things, you know. I think it's a valuable skill, and I want to keep sharing that. The occasional video essay, maybe, animations, little ideas I want to share, anything like that. I also have Minecraft stuff. I love Minecraft. So who knows, maybe that'll be fun to do. But what's even more important, actually, probably, is yay, Minecraft, yeah. It's a lot of fun. Maybe there's no, I think maybe it's unimportant for me to rank these in terms of importance, but I also do blog posts related to atomic ideas. I also think you know, I've got these textbooks sitting around that I occasionally will flip through, but I actually think it might be really cool to build some content around, you know, summaries and code examples from textbooks. You know, who knows? Summaries, etc. Who knows? The point is, the exact concepts of all of these things are, I like to keep things a little bit open-ended, but I'm dedicated to working on various aspects of content creation related to these values and motivations that I've laid out up here, because I think it's important to demonstrate your values in the world. I don't think that's a crazy thing to do. I think the more people that think about the values they have and ways in which they can enact them in the world, the better off we'll be. Maybe that's a big claim. I don't know if I can prove it, but I do think that the people I see in my life that are the most fulfilled and the most capable have that sort of similarity about them. But, you know, at the same time, I don't want to get all overly philosophical. The reason I want to do Minecraft stuff is because it's fun. I mean, why not have fun, you know? We got this life. It's hard sometimes, but it should be fun too. So that's what I want to do. That maybe is a bit of a meandering explanation of what I'm trying to achieve, but the key points to really focus on, I'm going to put down here, key ideas. I can build things. I can use creativity, curiosity, and honesty to build tools that help humans with their own creativity and problem solving. Programmatic CAD tools are a great way to empower people and provide powerful means of communicating knowledge amongst small teams. I am focusing on building CAD libraries and a small business as the proof that these ideas have real value. This is maybe the scariest thing for me on a personal level. I'm committed to a year of building out a set of tools, building out a service, in the case of producing product documentation, and building a business. That means taking time to work on this product, focusing on personal areas where I have knowledge gaps. It's a gamble, to say it just directly. This, for me, is going to be a little bit of a risk. But I really do believe what I say. I think honesty, empowerment, and creativity are some of the greatest things we have as humans. And I think taking the chance to build stuff that helps with those things for a year is totally worth it. I really think, succeed or fail, I think the effort in trying is something I kind of need to do it. So I'm going to. I can build things. This is maybe not a key idea. Programmatic CAD tools, building CAD libraries. The final key idea is to empower and encourage. I will continue focusing on creating both tools and content that can help others. These are the key ideas and things that I am focusing on. Now, this was maybe a presentation that was a little self-indulgent, and by that I mean I'm not praising myself. I'm just laying out a bit of my story, a bit of my thinking, and a bit of my motivation. I think that's fine to do. I mean, it's self-indulgent in the sense that this has been really helpful for me to solidify my decisions and to clarify my thinking. The past couple of months, I think, have been hard for every human on the world, on the planet. It's been an interesting year. It's been a challenging year. I've had a tough year, and so my thinking and my goals and values have been a little fuzzy and sloppy. So this has been really helpful for me on a very personal level. So that has been great. And it gives me just enough of a sense of directionality that I can move ahead a little bit. So I am personally quite happy with that. I do want to finally end just on this thing here. What can you do? Before I open this up here, the very obvious thing is, anyone who's watching this, what can you do to make the world better, to make your life better, to help other people, to be happy? Whatever personal ideas and goals you have, it's a fair question to ask, what can you do? And one thing is, obviously and always very importantly, to take care of yourself. Okay? And I can't prescribe any one method of doing that, but it is very important to do. And probably one of the biggest things is to, if you want or need it, just say to someone, I need help. So what can you do? You can get and help yourself. You can work towards being comfortable, confident, vulnerable, all of those things. These are very important and very hard to do. I say them not as if I'm an expert, but as someone also working on these sorts of things. What else can you do? If you have ideas and you have concepts and you want to build, do it. I think everyone can be someone who learns a lot of things for themselves, who has fun building things, who tries weird creative ideas. I don't think there's any reason to gatekeep anything, especially not like that. So use your creativity, build those things, write those books, make those songs. Just be creative. I think totally awesome. Even if they are never seen by anyone, if they are bad, if they're ugly, garbage, things that don't work, that's totally cool and fun to do. I promise it's fun. I promise it's fulfilling. Okay, What else can you do? If you know me in real life, call or talk with me. I'd love it. As might be evident, I have a lot of thoughts going through my mind. A lot of things I could share and talk about. So if you know me in real life, please, you go right ahead, call or talk to me about whatever ideas you have, encouragements you want, things you need, you know, whatever. I need stuff too sometimes, so, you know, all that's understandable. But hey, if you want to chat and you know me, you go right ahead. You probably, hopefully know where to find me if you know me already. If you, for any crazy reason, have any connections in the CAD industry and you want to talk, or you have worked on some programmatic CAD stuff before and you have experience and ideas and whatnot, please call or message me. If you have a product you want to create instructions and documentation for, please message me. Now, so, you know, as a bit of guidance here, if it's some product that you could build a kit for and ship a kit, that might be a cool idea. If it's something that you want to just sell a PDF of instructions of how to build it without sending any materials, that would be something I'm interested in. If it's instructions for some internal tool and you're on a small team in a big corporation and you have a little bit of budget control, you know, anything like that, you go right ahead. That would be awesome. All of those kinds of messages, adam.james@hey.com. Please, business inquiries, anything like that, you go right ahead. Hey.com is a new service I'm trying out, but it looks like I have good control to block out any horrible or unhelpful messaging. So I'm comfortable sending out the request. If you have or want to chat about programmatic CAD, about sharing design ideas, about engineering, about how to share complex ideas related to engineering and design work out to the world, any of those sorts of things, send me a message. That would be awesome. I'd love it. This always feels weird to ask, but it's true. I will need money. And if you like the ideas I'm talking about and you want to encourage me to keep working on it, it is always useful to get a little bit of money, you know? Gotta buy some food, gotta pay some rent. I don't necessarily love that that has to be true, but it is. And so if you can, supporting me monetarily on Patreon is very helpful. And all of that money goes toward all of the things I've been talking about, working on the Stylo library, working on content creation. It will not go toward anything I need to do for a customer on a consultation basis. That is sort of this separate branch. So if you're putting money into the Patreon, it's related to content and library development. You don't ever have to worry about your money disappearing beyond those efforts. I do my best to be honest and upfront with those things. I don't want to do this for money, but I need money to do this, as in to live. So that's the truth about that. Supporting monetarily is always helpful. And finally, please, 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 if you can, if you're so compelled, on any platforms that make sense, please share my pages, my Twitch, my YouTube channel, my blog. Share them on Hacker News, share them on the right subreddits. All of that stuff will be important. I want to grow this community. I want to get these ideas out to more people. I want to connect to more people so that I can learn more things, because I've been sharing a lot of ideas and concepts, but who knows, maybe some of this has been tried, some has succeeded wildly, some have failed already. So sharing the knowledge and connecting and building up that network is really important. So please go right ahead and help me out there. That would be phenomenal. You've shared the Twitch channel with coworkers. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Sincerely, I appreciate that. I'm realizing now, this marks the end of the my presentation spiel and whatnot. So thanks so much anyone who's tuned in live for sticking around and listening to it. This was totally different than what I originally planned, but I think this was important for me to do, so I really do appreciate that. But I'm going to actually finish by sharing by actually popping some of those links there. So if I do Patreon, oh wait, let me, I do have to make sure, no, let's do something different. I don't want to accidentally show information that shouldn't be shown, so let me see here. Yeah, see, now the wheels are falling off the presentation. At this point, it's just me relaxing because this was fun for me to share, but this was actually like surprisingly nerve-wracking. I thought this would be easy to do, but it's like I'm sharing, you know, a bit of my you know, thoughts out to the world. That's not always easy to do. Thanks for doing this. Everyone is creative, but not always motivated. Taking time to talk about the present and the future is inspiring, and I'd like to start sharing mine when I can. Oh, that's great. As I've been saying, you know, I don't think I don't think there's a reason not to. I think sharing things you're excited about, things you've made, I just love it. I love seeing it because people are happy when they do it, and I like it when people are happy. So you go right ahead and do that yourself. If you have an idea, you want to share it out, you do it. Okay, I'm gonna look at my Patreon link see if I can see if I can put the little thing here. The worst thing about this kind of stuff is we do still live in a situation, in a society where money does matter quite a bit, right? I so wish it didn't, but it does, and I do need it. So I mean, I can't talk about it without sounding silly. I'm gonna just do this for a second. I'm gonna pop that Patreon link up there. Let's see here. Okay. Oh man. Wait a second. Maybe I have oh, what a mess. The wheels have totally fallen off. Okay, I just got an email from my Patreon account. If you're tuned in and watching this right now, and you were just the person who joined on Patreon, I sincerely appreciate that very much. Thank you. I will say the Patreon private feed is unfortunately still pretty sparse. If you're there and you're willing to be part of it, I would love. Yeah, that was you? Thanks so much. Sincerely, that's fantastic. The thing about the Patreon creator page thing is it's sparse right now because I don't have a ton of people who are even participating on that private level. So if you want to be part of shaping how that looks, please engage with sending messages, ideas, method, or things, suggestions for improvements, that sort of stuff. Starting this stuff out will have to be pretty participatory if you're cool with that. You know, no pressure for anything, of course, but I want the help from time to time. Okay, all right. So the Patreon is, where's my, there we go. Oof, boy, okay. That's not it. I am falling apart today. There we go. Okay, there's that. Jeez, okay. I realize I'm just copying the links from, this is my Twitch channel page right here. Here I am live streaming myself. Yeah, so the GitHub is important, the Patreon is important. Oops, there we go. That's the page. Someone may have seen it already. The VOD's channel, let's see here. Is that like a readable, human readable link? I don't know. No, it's not. I should set up commands and type something like Patreon. It will link for you nice and easily. Oh, actually, okay. That is a very good idea. Let me write that one down. Set up chat commands for things like links, e.g. Patreon. Also, yeah, that's very good advice. Thank you for that. Some things I have to do. Boy, oh boy. Okay. I'm not sure if everyone who's tuned in now was tuned in right at the start of my stream, but you can do it not just for Patreon, but for all commands. Yeah. I've seen it. So you could, like, I could do a GitHub one, right? As well. You could be whatever. VODs too. That's a good idea. Plus, other people can type the command when new folks join and give them that without. This is like a top stream priority. Some things I have to do. Chat commands. I had another thing. It was, oh yeah, I want to set up, what are those things? Oh, stream overlays, I think, where like if someone follows or subscribes or whatever, it does a tiny little bling. I think a little bit of that would be kind of neat. Improve my stream aesthetics. Example, the full camera scene could look cooler. These are all kind of little things I need to do. But I was saying a moment ago, not sure if you guys, anyone tuned in now, heard it at the very start. One of the reasons I swapped to my, like, I'm even doing things this sort of loose, chatty kind of way, is because at the end of this week I'm actually traveling into the States for a bit. So I won't be able to stream for a bit anyway. Then when I'm back in Canada, due to the rules we have around travel and things like that, traveling is generally discouraged but is allowed, and when you come back you have to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks. That's at least the most recent information I'm aware of. So I'm gonna do that, of course. I think it's probably a fair and wise thing to do. But what I actually want to do is use that time to do this sort of admin related stuff. I gotta refocus my goals, refocus my timeline and my calendar, and get all that stuff set up. Because I want to make this stream even better. Well, even better. I like how I'm doing things, but there are obvious things that I can do better, and I want to spend some time investing that sort of behind the scenes time to get it done. So I will be off for at least 2 weeks. I might take up to the month off, and then I'll be back. That would be in October, right? Yeah, it's September tomorrow. So that's all to say, this is the last stream for at least 2 weeks, unless I really have the urge to do some kind of special stream or something, which I might, but I make no promises. So yeah, I wanted to get this out there to serve as sort of a presentation that people can see when they hit the Twitch thing. They'll also see when they hit my YouTube page, hopefully. Oh, speaking of, I have a VODs channel. I do also have a main channel with no videos on it, which I'll start to post other videos too, because that is going to be fun as well. Let me see if I wonder if my channel has a human readable name. I will find out in just a moment. It also does not. It's a problem for after the stream. I don't have really any more plan. Yeah, see, Adam James, that's me. It's my other channel. I'm gonna end up, let me put main YouTube channel link on Twitch as well. Update / remove incorrect elements of the stream schedule, because I need to work on some of those things. Yeah, so if there's anyone still tuned in, let me see. Yeah, if there's any questions or thoughts off the top of anyone's head that they would want to bring up right now, you guys go ahead. I have nothing planned anymore. I'm gonna get going soonish, and yeah, I'll be probably clipping the presentation part of what I did today, and then maybe editing it and putting it on YouTube as like a I don't know as what, as a video. It would just be a video. But is there anything else useful that I can do right now? Anything useful? Oh, let's finish this off here. Put @hey.com email on my blog. Oh, that's another whole set of things to do too. Put blog content on a proper server with proper or with a purchased domain name, not only on github.io. Actually, this is an interesting one. I don't know how I feel about having my call it a blog on here, on github.io. I kind of don't think that's a problem, but I don't know. And the reason, I've just left it like this because my writing rate is slow. I can improve it, and that's kind of part of the plan. But I just don't know how it reflects on me, as a creator, if I don't have my own domain, So I'm not sure how to feel about that. Question mark. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to do? Now I'm just thinking out loud and on stream. I also do know that I've put this in, maybe this should have all been in my Scratch folder. How does that look? If I do this, oops. Org mode. Hey, there we go. Cool. Okay, so this is all the Scratch. Yes, that's perfect. So this can be deleted because I actually just put that whole section into my stylo library here. See, this is all actually still code. Not what I need. Okay. This is a total tangent for a moment. Anyone who's watching and willing to participate with me for a moment, how does, if anyone knows, how does the clipping feature work on Twitch? Like, is anyone able to clip something? So if I'm doing my stream here and something happens or something of interest that someone theoretically might want to clip, can anyone who's viewing clip it? Does anyone know about that? I'm currently unfamiliar with some of the Twitch things. I also like, so this here, stream overlays, can I make my own? Pretty sure anyone can clip. You just tried it? Oh, thanks for trying that. Okay, good to know. It is allowing it. Okay. So that is what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that. Thanks thanks for trying that out, by the way. Good to know. There's a time limit to how far back you can go. Oh, that's okay. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure clips themselves can only be of a certain duration. So I wonder if it's like you click a clip it button and it's like, let's assume that the duration is a minute. I don't know how long it is, but I wonder if it, like, from the moment you clicked clip that, if it just does that duration backwards or something, or can you vary it? It doesn't really matter. One of the challenges I have personally when I'm trying to plan out how I want to approach things like this is, like, anything you look up for advice or anything like that comes from either people who have just turned into okay, I'm gonna detach that thought for a moment. If you wanted to clip the talk you were just giving about Patreon and such, you'd probably need to go into the VOD and clip it from there. Yeah, so there's, I think there are there's clips and then there's highlights or something like that. I think they're two different things, and I can, like, pull out big chunks of my previous VODs. I've done that before. But I would imagine that viewers can only do, like, short clips or something like that. That's my guess. Anyway, what I was saying was, anything you look up for advice on how to do Twitch channels, YouTube channels and stuff is either coming from someone who has genuine advice but is already at some threshold of success where there's almost this sort of detachment from your own reality. Not in a bad way, just in a this is the way it is kind of way. Or it's like people in channels who are kind of running a grift where they just want people who are trying to build something to join their thing, and it becomes this weird sort of shady advice thing that's not really helpful. Anyway, whole point is, trying to plan this stuff out on my own is kind of tricky sometimes, right? Because you want to plan ahead, but you can't. I have no idea how quickly or slowly, or if at all, things will grow. You just kind of have to figure things out as you go, and that's been an interesting thing for me so far. That's a bit rambly, but those are the thoughts that go through my mind when I think about stuff like this, like stream overlays. Like it's not really a big deal. Like I've done a bunch of VODs without having them at all, but you know, like how much effort do you put into them because people expect them and all that kind of stuff. It just I just can run around in circles in my own mind. There's just clearly something that stops being helpful. What I'm noticing is, since I've got nothing more planned that I need to say or that I wanted to really work on, I'm kind of just filling time. And I'm sorry about that, because that's not exactly the most helpful. Oh, I had an idea. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Well, okay, so anyone tuned in and watching now, if you want to answer and participate, you go right ahead. If you don't want to, also fine. But I have a question in general is, what about my channel is interesting to you? What are elements that you would hope to see more of if you were to stick around and participate and keep listening and tuning in? That's assuming that you want to do that. If you don't want to, that's always totally fine. Hey Emerson, how's it going? I hope you're having a good day. But I am kind of curious, what are the things about this channel in particular that you're interested in, that even caused you to talk in the chat at all, you know, that kind of stuff. Because those, I think, are the things that I should try to maintain or build up on. Marison, you can't hear anything? Oh, that's okay. How about this? How about that? I'll just say this. Hi, Marison. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not programming today, just kind of chatting about my goals, values, that sort of thing. But yeah, oh man, now I've got a few people tuned in, and that's fantastic, and I've got nothing really directly applicable, so I don't want to I don't want to bore anyone. But yeah, found me by chance searching Clojure in Twitch, got really excited finding a streamer with Clojure programming. Oh, well, that's great to know. You know, sometimes it's as simple as that, it's just the tools and the language you're using, right? Yeah, so the way I'm talking is a little more, like, I'm thinking future oriented a little bit, right? So I don't want to freak anyone out thinking things are going to totally shift gears and everything. I just want them to get a little bit better, you know? So I'm going to keep using Clojure. That's for sure still part of this. Originally came for Clojure stuff, but stayed because it's a nice atmosphere. You're engaging with chat, you get work done, and you explain things pretty well to people who are learning. Well, Mike, I wasn't digging, but that is a hefty compliment. Thank you so much. That really is quite nice. The nice atmosphere, I'm glad to hear that, because that's intentional. Engaging with chat is fun, so that obviously is something that I do work on. I get work done. I try to get work done. Some days are not as productive as I want, but I'm glad overall that my stream has been progressing in terms of the actual work that does get done. So that's true, that's good. And I explain things pretty well to people who are learning. That actually is the thing that I have the most, what's the right word? Fear, imposter syndrome sort of part to it. Only because I'm not, like I'm self-taught myself, right? So I occasionally worry that I'm explaining something that I think I understand, but I actually don't, and I don't want to mislead people. So that I managed to do that pretty well is reassuring. So thanks for that. So those are both good feedback pieces. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. Things to keep doing. Engaging with chat to build a nice, encouraging, open atmosphere. Atmosphere is important to me and probably most viewers. Let's see here. Software is all opinion-based anyway. Things like what is best tech for X can vary wildly depending on the person. Only advice on what to do moving forward would be maybe include a couple other languages, maybe stuff more mainstream like Python or whatever, to help expand the audience, because Clojure is probably pretty specialized. That's actually a very good point. Let's put that under your little heading here. You know, that thought has crossed my mind from time to time. I don't want to abandon Clojure because I really love it, but to also do other languages I think is a cool thing. Like, it would be really neat to do, like, let's imagine I whip together some little client tool, like a little web tool in Clojure. It would be really cool to spend a stream or two from time to time, let's say recreating, or maybe even just building a tool out entirely in a different language, just like little chunks of other languages, you know? That's actually really good advice in general. I think that's a good idea. Let's see here. Maybe include a few other programming languages, e.g. Python, Pythonk, other mainstream langs. I will confess, I don't really know JavaScript at all. Like, I know copy paste Stack Overflow messes, but that's not actually knowing something. So, you know, maybe that would actually be something I should learn anyway, and something that could draw in a crowd or something like that. Or maybe TypeScript or something more popular. I don't know. But that's good advice in general. Example, Python. Maybe include a few other programming languages, in part because Clojure is pretty specialized. Things to keep doing. Keep doing Clojure and expand from time to time into other langs. Within the Clojure community, Twitter and Clojurian Slack channel would be a good place to let people know about you. It's a small community, but because of that, you can get pretty good feedback and responses. That is good advice as well. Let me, so one thing, I'm just going to verbalize this. It came up right as I read that. I just realized that I'm actually really scared to share this out with other people who write Clojure, and that's maybe really silly. But the reason is, like I was saying a little bit earlier, is that imposter syndrome type thing. That's it's silly. Like, I'm not asking for reassurance or anything, but I just noticed that, oh man, wait, I actually have to share this out? But of course I do. Of course. Let's see here. Clojurian Slack channel is a good place to share. Twitter. See, Twitter is unfortunate. I try to reduce my social media use, but okay, Twitter, so be it. If I have to, I will. Pretty small community, but you can get good feedback and responses. That is very useful. Small community, but will get good feedback / responses. Good to know. Fantastic. Keep doing Clojure. What else? What else was there here? Let's see. Software is all opinion based anyway. Yeah. Oh, there's this. Keep trying to teach / explain in an open, easy to follow manner. Note, always be careful to explain things that you actually know. Don't want to mislead people. There. Wonder if I need to get better at typing. I typo quite frequently. I think that's probably not too bad. Oh, here, some things I have to do. This is a thing for myself. Make my Emacs setup more better. More better. Jeez. Make my Emacs setup more streamlined. So stuff like that would be better code navigation, especially in org mode files. Fix and make get all possible REPLs working nicely. Example, Shadow, CLJS REPL, Big Wheel, CLJS REPL in, what's that called where you have piggybacking properly with CLJ REPL, etc. Other things that would be good, I do need to have a more disciplined and clear notes / document system. Potentially are there oh boy, what are they called? I was listening to a podcast the other day and it was talking about Zettelkasten or something like that. Use the concept of atomic notes, have a regular review / consolidation, time slot, etc., etc. None of this is really particularly stream relevant unless I end up referencing and using those sorts of notes on the stream itself, which might actually be kind of a fun, I don't need to save those yet, might actually be kind of a fun thing to do. Oops. Well, close that. Okay, save to file, dev slash notes. What do I call this? Dev slash notes.org. Sure, that's fine. See, this is what I mean. I save files to my computer and forget where I wrote things, or write things twice because I wanted it here, but then I thought, oh, it should be there. I just need to figure out how to make it work in a nice way that is conducive to good streams, is conducive to good knowledge retention, is helpful for planning new projects or revisiting old ones, all that kind of stuff. All that is important work to do. But this is good. This is good to know. Mike and Seung B, apologies if I mispronounced or said any names incorrectly. Thank you for your feedback and engagement in the last couple of minutes. That's been really helpful to me. Thanks, by the way, anyone who will. Oh wait, no, I'm going to be editing this out, so never mind. I was going to say thanks to anyone watching this in the future. If you're watching this on the VODs channel, I guess you might see the whole thing, so thanks for that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm totally off the rails now. This was a fun and different stream for me to do. I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad that some people listened and engaged. So thank you so much. That is going to be the end of my stream today, and the start of a little bit of a stream break. As you can see, there's a lot of background stuff I want to work on, so this is going to be at least 2 weeks where I'll be off, maybe up to the month, but I am not gone. I will be back because I love streaming and I want to keep growing the channel and keep growing my skills in all these different ways. And now I've got a clear presentation as to what I'm intending to work on, so hopefully that's clearer and clearer to people as well. So that'll be enough jibber jabber from me. I'm gonna get going. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks. Hope you have good and safe travel. I hope so too. It's gonna be, it's still pandemic times, right? So I'm sure it's kind of needless, but I feel anxious about it. But I do think, at least Canada side, the policies for handling all these things are really done quite well, and people are generally respectful, so I am feeling confident. But it's also traveling for good reasons. I'll see some nice people, so it's definitely worthwhile. Yeah, thanks. My travels, I hope, will go well. I hope everyone has a good couple of days and weeks. I hope you're able to work on whatever creative projects you have. I hope you're able to take care of yourselves. And I hope to see you back when I'm back. That would be fantastic. Thanks so much. I'm gonna get going. Goodbye.